Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to be featuring the Kid, the Tier 6 Premium American Destroyer. Now, after the Kid has received the defensive AA consumable, this ship has become quite the anti-air powerhouse, especially if you are able to fully build into AA. Now, I was able to find a game against a tier 5 carrier, and it is a ranger. And fortunately, he did spawn on our flank, so my AA is definitely going to be able to shred some planes. I'm getting shot at by the enemy fleet, and their shells are missing and incapped my engine. I damage con the engine, and as soon as my damage control runs out, one of the shells from an enemy Mackinson hits one of my modules and shatters, but only starts a fire that I can't damage con, which is really unfortunate. Usually against these lower tier carriers, the Kid's defensive AA is able to take out an entire squadron. We do have only 4 planes. I do think the friendly cruiser that was behind us did get the other 2 of the squadron. The Ranger does launch some bombers back towards where we were, and all I'm going to do is just stay broadside to where his bombs are coming from, just so that he has a much harder time dropping me, and I just simply let my AA destroy his planes. He starts his drop, and I just simply go forward as fast as I can, and I'm able to simply acceleration juke him because he had to adjust. His bomb ellipse was just so terrible. An enemy Atlanta is seen charging into the middle of the map, where our friendly destroyer and friendly cruiser were in Bravo. Now the Atlanta, having a radar, is the #1 threat. You might think that it's the carrier, but the Atlanta is much more dangerous simply because a tier 5 carrier is not that big of a threat if you simply know how to dodge. I call target on the Atlanta. However, no one on my team is able to shoot at him, so I just simply start smoking up and start farming him myself. Our friendly battleship that spawned behind us is turning and looking like he's gonna go to the border of the map, so we know that he will not be any sort of use for us. There was an enemy destroyer that was just spotted off to our right and has smoked up and started shooting. You can see his smoke there. So all I'm going to do is simply use this island to protect myself from any of that destroyer's torpedoes and try my best to kill off this Atlanta. He had been spotted in the middle of the map for quite some time now, and he is still not dead yet, which is going to be a problem if our friendly cruiser that is in the cap can't kill him off. I do call target on him again, and our cruiser does start shooting at him, but he's shooting HE, so he is not doing a lot of damage. The enemy destroyer does get spotted right in front of me, and unfortunately does go unspotted. He is starting to launch torpedoes, and based on the way that he was turning, I'm thinking he is turning to go towards the right side of this island, and based on where those torpedoes come from, I think he has made a full turn in, and he is now off my 3 o'clock. Our friendly cruiser has gone down without really doing a whole lot to this Atlanta, and now the Atlanta is trying to run away. I do start moving forward again to make sure that I have shots, and still nobody is shooting at him, which is going to be a problem. The cruisers that we had with us, instead of staying in the cap and shooting at these ships at Bravo, has decided to go around the islands on the outside, and now he can't shoot at anything. The destroyer's torpedoes do come off from my 1 o'clock, which means that he is now out in front of me. After killing off that Atlanta, I now feel safe to try and push this destroyer and kill him off. With it being an Akatsuki, I know that I will definitely be able to outgun him and take him out. He is running away, and he destroys my engine with that first salvo. I damage con to make sure that I can keep up and take him out, and his second salvo takes out my engine again and sets me on fire, which is just some really unfortunate RNG. Now I am pretty much gonna just be stuck here with an engine broken and on fire. I am just gonna do as much as I can to this Akatsuki. Before he gets around the corner, I just dump torpedoes just in case he decides to turn and try to launch torpedoes back at me. The enemy carrier does return, which is not very good because we are a sitting duck here. As soon as my damage con comes off a cooldown, I need to pop it and try to get out of here. I use my defensive AA consumable to try and destroy as many planes as I can. Damage conning my engine forces this carrier to try and realign his drop, and my defensive AA destroys that entire squadron. Unfortunately, that ACAT got away, and now we do have very low HP because we were simply stuck there and getting shot at by the entire enemy team that was on this side. I ping our friendly battleship for basically sailing at the back of the map and then sailing all the way around the border, not able to shoot at anything. Our friendly cruiser that spawned with us, that also went around the outside instead of staying at A, went into their spawn and also died. So basically, the teammates that I spawned with didn't really do a whole lot, and now it's not really looking that great in terms of pulling this game out as a win. I am debating if I should be chasing the ACAT, but I decide that I am going to go and cap Bravo and then try to help our friendly battleship against the Andrea Doria and the enemy York that was on this side. Because I am using a full AA build and I'm using George Dewey as my commander with fully packed, I do still have 2 heals that I can use. I use one of them and I'm going to gain back a whole lot of HP. I still have 2 smoke screens and 1 more defensive AA consumable. I think using George Dewey and fully packed is a bit risky if you are trying to hunt down enemy destroyers because, like you saw, my engine got knocked out, and if I can't damage con it, then you're just a sitting duck. But if you're able to manage it and really play safe, having multiple consumables that are really effective can definitely help you out a lot. Our friendly carrier does spot the enemy Akatsuki, and I start shooting him, trying to kill him off. And I also smoke up to not be spotted by the enemy battleship that is in front of me. And I am fortunately able to kill off the ACAT, and now I can focus my fire on this Andrea Doria at Alpha that is basically running right at our Bayern. Knowing that our Bayern and the way that he was playing this entire game, I'm not really expecting a whole lot from him in terms of being able to kill off this battleship as well as the enemy cruiser. Our Bayern does get spotted, and he's just simply sailing broadside to this enemy battleship. Our friendly CV on the other flank is at least running away, trying not to get spotted, and unfortunately our friendly cruiser is pretty much just going to be stuck behind that island while he is being run down by that enemy Strasbourg. The enemy CV has also been spotted on the other side, well, at least his planes, so I know that I am safe from any of his strikes or being spotted, at least for the time being. While in my smoke, I do try to farm these battleships as much as possible. I do get the Mackinson to use one of his damage controls, so I know that he has at least 2 remaining. The enemy ships are leaving my firing range, so I also leave my smoke and start heading towards Alpha to see if I can help out this Bayern. Looking at our friendly Bayern, he's just parked there sitting in front of 2 enemy ships, including one that has torpedoes. Now he is trying to kill off the Orc, which is the right play, and I do hope that he is successful in taking him out because having one less ship with sonar to deal with is going to help us out in the long run. Unfortunately, our full health battleship is now about to die, and we're going to be over here against 2 enemy battleships, one that is pretty much full HP, and the other that has been cut down to half health. Our friendly carrier is starting to drop the Mackinson, which is a very good thing, because if he's able to land bombs and set a bunch of fires, he might use up the rest of his damage cons, and killing him off will be a lot easier. This Andrea Doria does start going around the outside of the island, so I simply start pushing into the cap to try and flip it and start flipping the points. With the Andrea Doria's guns facing the wrong way, I know I could shoot him without being shot back at, which is really fortunate, but at the same time, I didn't get a whole lot done. Our friendly Helena that was left on the other side of the map is actually rushed down by the enemy CV and the enemy Strasbourg. Unfortunately, he was unable to kill off either of them, and now it's just me and our friendly CV. Fortunately, our friendly CV is running from that flank, and his planes are coming over here to help with these two battleships. He has been dropping the Mackinson, and if I had to assume, he did use a second damage control against those planes that have been dropping him. I try my best to help the enemy CV and set some fires and forcing his final damage cons so that he has a very easy time of simply sending him on permafires and killing him off. For us to win, we are going to need to kill off both battleships on this flank and flip the cap without the enemy reaching Bravo and flipping it before the game ends. The Mackinson is staying spotted because of our friendly carrier, so I'm just going to simply start farming him over this island. Unfortunately, our carrier has dropped his last bombs and he has to send a new squadron. I set a fire and I notice that my fire is still burning, so he does not have a damage con up or he has run out entirely. If this number ever stops ticking, then I know he has damage con and use another one of his three. The Andrea Doria does pop out from behind the island, so I start smoking up and decide to start farming him. I held off on launching my torpedoes for this Andrea Doria because these torpedoes are very slow, and with the enemy CV coming in to drop him, I know that he is definitely going to be trying to dodge, and more than likely my torpedoes will miss. Instead, I am going to hold these torpedoes for any YOLO opportunity, or if this Andrea Doria does decide to start pushing in towards me. I start a double fire on him, and he damage cons that instantly, and we have our friendly carrier dropping torpedoes. If he starts a flood, it should be a permanent one, which I think he does. I'm also able to set him on a permafire, and all I'm going to do is try to set him on another one and simply burn him down. There's the second fire, and the enemy Mackinson does try to blind fire me from behind and ends up getting spotted. I need to kill off this Andrea Doria very quickly, so I have an escape route just in case this Mackinson is pushing in with sonar. The Mackinson sonar does reach 5.3 kilometers, so he is getting very close to that. So I need to start leaving my smoke and sailing away. We do have the points lead now, and all I need to do now is simply survive. This enemy Mackinson is pushing in relatively quickly, so I need to leave. I do get caught in 5.3 and actually goes down to 5.2, and I'm not actually spotted by his sonar, so I know that he does not have it up right now, which means that I won't be spotted. Our friendly carrier is launching more planes to drop him, and I launch these torpedoes to the left of him because I'm expecting him to turn to try and dodge these torpedo planes, and if he turns left, then he will turn into my torpedoes. He keeps sailing in a straight line, eats two carrier torpedoes, and from the looks of it, it did cause a flood, which he damage conned, and it also seems like one of my torpedoes will end up hitting him, which it does. And now he is on a perm flood, and I can just sail around this island and try to set him on fire, and he will go down. The enemy carrier planes return, and I use my final defensive AA consumable, and I'm able to shred his planes and set him on fire. As soon as the enemy Strasbourg gets spotted, I know that he shot his main guns, so I turn an acceleration juke, and the Strasbourg misses in the final seconds of this game. This was looking pretty bad based on the fact that we were outnumbered and they had the caps, but our friendly carrier knowing to leave the flank and come over to help on the other side was very crucial in winning this game. 89,000 damage, not the highest amount of damage, just a clear sky. And when we go ahead and look at our team result, we have 3,500 base XP and our friendly carrier is above everyone else at 1800. So this was definitely a carry, and if not for our carrier coming over to help on our flank, this would have definitely been a loss. Somehow our friendly Bayern that was just parked stationary in front of two ships has done much better than the rest of our team, which is a bit shocking, and he did better than our top tier battleships. This was definitely not a game we were supposed to win, but we were able to through teamwork and intelligent gameplay from the two classes that have the most impact on a battle. Like I said, I was using George Dewey as my commander, and I'm using a full AA build with Ernst King and AL Yukikaze. No fly zone in that first slot to even better my AA, and fully packed in that legendary skill row. If I didn't have that third smokescreen and even that third defensive AA consumable, maybe the end of the battle would have been much different. Taking a look at these AA stats, the long range AA goes out to 6.7 and the mid range reaches out to 4.7, which are the two auras that are most important, especially since our air detectability is around 3 kilometers. Those two AA auras will be shooting without us being spotted, and using the defensive AA consumable multiplies this amount of damage by 200%. But that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Do leave a like and subscribe for more. Leave a comment down below for any ships you want to see in the future. But until next time, aloha.